Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today, I wanted to make a guide of how to kill the Chimera. The Guardian of the Chimera is one of the 4 bosses at the center of the Atlas. You'll see here that I've got Uber Elder in the process of spawning. You may not have this, these maps may not appear Shaper influenced when you're doing them, but the fight will be the same either way. So, what we're doing here is we're going to go and kill the Chimera. I've deliberately rolled a map that's very easy, so that there's not much extra damage coming in. Don't worry, I'm a squishy build, and I actually have a lot of trouble with the Chimera on the character I'm playing at the moment. We'll get to why in a second. There are 3 types of phases in this fight, and you'll need to do one of them 4 times and the other ones 3 times each. So it is actually a 10-phase fight. The first phase, and the 4th, and the 7th, and the 10th and final, the Chimera directly attacks you. The 2nd, 5th, and 8th phase, additional monsters will attack you. You'll notice at the moment 10 monsters remain. The other 9 monsters, so there's the Chimera, and then there's 9 more monsters that will attack you during those phases. And in fact, there'll be more than 9 because those adds respawn after being killed, and there's mini-bosses as well. Then the 3rd, 6th, and 9th phases are the smoke cloud phases. The smoke cloud phases require a bit of attention. What you need to do during them, the Chimera will hide and leave a number of smoke clouds on the floor. He will be hiding inside one of these smoke clouds chosen at random. If you step onto his smoke cloud, onto the smoke cloud the Chimera is on, then the Chimera will make a melee attack on you and the smoke cloud phase will end immediately. On the other hand, if you can't find him, approximately every second, I've not actually timed it, it may be once a second, it may be once every 1.5 seconds, it may be something like that. The Chimera will make an attack that hits the whole screen for a small amount of damage. This is particularly nasty, especially if you're playing a build that is squishy, like mine is. If you have a lot of armor, then this is trivialized. If you have a lot of evasion, I believe that these attacks will respect your evasion, and so you won't get hit by many of them. But if you're reliant on energy shield, this phase is cruel. Likewise, if, like me, you're just a squishy build that has neither armor nor evasion and just has a small amount of energy shield as a buffer. So, be aware of that phase, it's nasty. If you're playing in hardcore, you absolutely need to have a logout macro ready in case you get bad RNG on that part of the fight. The other thing you should do is save at least 1 Quicksilver Flask. You're going to want to walk over the smoke clouds rather than use teleport move skills over them. And the reason for that is desync. You want your character to be exactly on the server where it appears on the screen. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start the Chimera fight. When I do this, you'll see the phase that is the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th where the Chimera attacks you directly. During this, he has a number of attacks. The main ones that you need to watch out for. There is one where he sort of jumps up and attacks a whole circle on the ground, and that circle will be marked. That circle's pretty big, and it's much bigger if there are map mods that increase that area. You don't absolutely have to get out of that attack, but I strongly recommend it. And with certain map mods, you may absolutely need to get out of it because it may become a one-shot. It is a very dangerous attack, but it is not a guaranteed one-shot. Then there is also another attack that I'll show off because it's easier when you see it, where he launches himself forward and hits you and can hit you pretty hard. So, this is the arena that the Chimera is in. I'll just revert to the traditional minimap. It's not very big, but it's also not small. And there are going to be gates at the west, the north, and the east corner that monsters will join the fight from. So, here's the Chimera. That was his blast forward. That's his circle attack. You'll see that he hits everything in that circle. You want to outspeed him. That's his Whirling Blades type attack. And as you see, he does inflict quite a bit of damage. And I can't really regenerate my life flasks during this phase, so I'm going to have to try and dodge most of them. I've pushed him down under 75% health, so now we're in phase 2, which is Trash Mods. These are pretty easy. If you're struggling with these ones, you're going to be having trouble with the fight. However, there are 3 different packs of trash, and each one of them has a mini-boss with them as well. There are the Goatmen, which are pretty easy. There are the Cobra Spitters, which can be very dangerous. I have a lot of chaos resistance on this character just by just dumb luck. Here he comes. This is phase 3. This is the smoke clouds. One more hit, and then he'll go into smoke cloud phase. Now, I got lucky that time. I walked over using all my move speed abilities, so in other words, just an adrenaline of Quicksilver Flask. I found the Chimera and got out. You see that he has a charge up before he does that attack. This is the Chaos Spitters, and these things are savage if you're negative 60% Chaos Resist. Let me actually let them survive long enough so that you can see their attack. That is, of course, a projectile attack, and it scales with all of the usual map mods that affect projectiles, and that's the boss one, the mini boss, who is already dead now. I got lucky again. So that time, the Chimera, there he goes with his big jump. You want to just keep circling him. See how I'm circling him most of the time? And then when I think he's about to do that dash towards me, I then very quickly use a teleport move skill to get out of the way. Doesn't need to be a teleport, it just needs to be a fast movement skill. So you can use a Flame Dash like I'm using on this character, you can use Whirling Blades or Shield Charge if that's your thing. It really just comes down to your build. This is the other ads phase, and this dog is nasty. The rest of them are all trivial, but this specific one, the mini-boss, is rough. A pun not intended. Here we go with the Smoke Clouds phase. Again, I got them pretty quickly that time. That phase can be brutal, especially if the map mods are increasing the damage the Chimera deals. And he's about to drop dead. I think he's just one more hit away. Fortunately, he doesn't seem to be actually sustaining very many of his endurance charges from the map mods. Anyways, I hope that gives a bit of a sense of both how to do the fight in practice. I would suggest either perusing the video that I made on how map mods affect the Shaper Guardians, or alternately at least looking at the spreadsheet that I linked in that. It'll give you a sense of which ones to watch out for. But with the Chimera, the scary ones are the ones that amp up his damage during the Smoke Cloud phase, because that is the phase you are most likely to die in. If you're playing a melee build, you will want to be repositioning aggressively when he does his sort of... I think it's similar to the player skill charge dash, where he zooms forward. You'll either want to be able to tank that easily, or you will want to get out of the way when he starts doing that. I don't have problems with that because, as you can see with this build, I'm attacking from quite some range. But always, any time that you're playing a boss fight, there's always differences depending upon the build you're playing. Have you got any questions, fire away below. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you have a good one.